the speed limit of air pressure equals the speed of sound. This is something people don't think about. And a good example of a bunch of people forgetting it, we can find in the Veritasium video, which deals with the downwind faster phenomenon associated with a vehicle built by a guy named Rick Cavallaro. And even after I watched that video, it was kind of amazing to me that after the video was done, they still didn't get it. And so here is my attempt to explain this to you. Maybe I should mention I actually did explain this previously to Rick Cavallaro, and he responded along the lines that I didn't understand the concept. And of course, the concept he was talking about was the gearing and the notion that something slower can be made into something faster through some kind of mechanism. And that's not really all that amazing a concept. That's actually well known. I mean, even a bow and arrow is a demonstration of that concept. Now, you could also use gears to do it, as they explained. But that's not really where the confusion was. Really, the whole spirit of the argument is that something can't push something faster than it is going itself without some kind of a mechanism. That's the spirit of the question that the UCLA professor, I think his name was Alex, that's the spirit of the question that he was asking. And of course that's correct. A train moving 5 miles an hour is going to push a bicycle faster than 5 miles an hour. And that's the case with this too. The wind is not going to push something faster than the speed of the wind if the wind is the thing doing the pushing. And that's the thing to understand here. The wind is not the thing doing the pushing in this example. The thing doing the pushing is air pressure. The wind is involved with creating laminar flow on the front of the sail or the wing, whatever the case may be. And that laminar flow is creating low pressure on the front of it, allowing high pressure or the regular air pressure on the back to do the pushing. And here's the thing about air pressure. The speed limit of air pressure is very fast. It's the speed of sound. And that's because of what air pressure is. It's molecules in our atmosphere that are moving very rapidly and running into things. Now, we don't notice it most of the time because we're essentially pushing back against our own molecules, or pushing back against them, and all the other molecules in our vicinity are. There's a balance of this energy going all around. And I guess because of that, we're not really aware of it, but that's really the answer to the question. And that's why the vehicle is able to continue to gain speed. That's why, for example, on a wind turbine, that if you don't have some kind of a brake on it, or if you don't harness the energy coming out of it, even under a relatively calm wind, it will continue to go faster and faster until it literally destroys itself. And again, that's because the speed limit of the thing doing the pushing has a very high speed limit. And that high speed limit is, of course, the speed of sound. So a wind turbine, even under relatively calm conditions, will literally destroy itself if it doesn't have a brake. And that's the whole thing. But here's the thing, people forget this. They don't think about the notion of aerodynamics. They don't think of air pressure as being the thing that allows. The air pressure is where the energy in the atmosphere comes from that holds planes in the air. The energy doesn't come from the engines of the airplane. The engines of the airplane overcome drag and help remove the air pressure on the top of it. But the actual energy that's keeping a plane in the air comes from the air itself. Now think of it, if you had a great big tube, let's say you had a tube a mile long and you evacuated it, and let's say you put at the front of it some papers and stuff, let's say it was a glass tube, and then you opened up one end of it, that stuff would shoot down there. Well, it's the same concept. Air pressure has a very high speed limit, and unless you're thinking about it, you're not going to remember it. And that's what happened here. Is I'm sure all of those people are well aware of the fact that air pressure is what's involved with aerodynamics. And I'm sure at one time they were all well aware that air pressure has a very high speed limit. They just forgot it. And that's the same problem we have in meteorology. Meteorologists just don't think about the fact that there's all this energy that's available in the air, and it's just a matter of getting to it. Because one of the problems in tornado genesis is that no one really knows where the high wind speeds come from. Well, now we do know. As long as you have a mechanism that has a difference in pressure from one end to the other, let's say a tube, and that air is moving down that tube as a result of the difference in air pressure. Let's say one end of the tube is into the jet stream at high altitude, the other end of the tube is low altitude. As long as you can have a tube doing that, you can continue to accelerate air down the tube until eventually you get it going hundreds of miles an hour. And that explains how we can have air moving hundreds of miles an hour in a tube to therefore explain some of the phenomena that's associated with tornadoes. This is James McGinn with Solving Tornadoes, and thank you.